Dial 14.
Dialing. Connection established.
Directory new mail.
Voicemail. You have one new message.
Read message.
Hi Phil, just got your paper. There are a couple of points I need to raise with you.
Reality or fantasy? Sophisticated applications such as these may soon be possible as a result of advances in computer speech technology, but the design of efficient and user-friendly speech systems is far from straightforward. This film is concerned with the creation and development of modern speech-based applications. The Digital Equipment Corporation has been collaborating with the University of Wales School of Psychology for the last 3 years. The project is concerned with speech interface development using state-of-the-art computer technology. Recent research topics have included the processes involved in the creation and editing of speech messages and user preferences for particular voices and dialogue styles. A DEC voice speech device has been used to model a number of different applications, including remote message handling and voice annotation. This device has the ability to synthesize speech from text, digitize human speech which can be edited, and recognize a selected range of voice input commands. As applications were tested and assessed, it was observed that certain design decisions can have a radical effect on a computer system's efficiency and usability. It became clear that by following a simple set of recommendations early in the developmental cycle, superior speech systems could be built and many problems could be easily avoided. The film presents these recommendations by showing good and poor practice in the use of computer speech and concludes with guidelines for the speech system designer. Message creation, speech digitization as a live medium. The different techniques involved in the creation and revision of digitized and synthesized speech messages can influence their effectiveness in particular settings. The quality of digitized messages is dependent on the human speaker. Consequently, a variety of different problems can occur. Clarity of messages can be affected by such factors as an unpracticed or self-conscious reader, voice fatigue, a strong accent, or a noisy environment. Here, an unpracticed reader attempts to record a digitized message in a noisy setting.
The reference you require is Edgar Dale Dunn & Hogan, New York, 1974.
When the message is sent, the receiver may have difficulty understanding it.
Reference you require is Edgar Dale Dunn & Hogan, New York, 1974.
In contrast, synthesized speech messages can be created and edited in a noisy environment or by an unskilled reader without being degraded.
The reference you require is Edgar Dale Dunn and Hogan, New York, 1974.
Another important consideration is that currently, despite data compression techniques, a large proportion of storage is consumed by digitized speech messages. For corresponding messages, storage space of synthesized data is very modest. Therefore, synthesized speech may be advantageous where computer memory is restricted. Despite these problems, the process of speech digitization is clearly advantageous for many applications. Digitized messages can be created quickly and easily and do not require any typing skills or specialized knowledge of programming techniques. Editing speech messages. Once a speaker has been selected for an application, in order to sound consistent, the digitized speech system is dependent on that same human speaker for new vocabulary. If that speaker is not available and the message is revised by another speaker, the change in voice may prove disorientating to the user and fragment the flow of the message.
Name, John Smith. Extension,
5353.
home address,
83 Richmond Road, Plymouth.
In contrast, messages for synthesis can be edited or revised by a number of individuals without suffering disruptions of continuity.
Name John Smith. Extension 5353. Home address 83 Richmond Road, Plymouth.
On the other hand, in some situations it may be essential for the individual who originally created the message to be recognized by other users. Messages may carry more authority or urgency if spoken by the original speaker rather than by a machine, and this may help the user to deal with the information appropriately.
I think we need to talk about this as soon as possible.
Visual representation of messages. Some messages may be unintelligible or contain a degree of ambiguity. Although digitized speech can be examined visually as waveforms, the actual message is only available via auditory presentation. In contrast, synthesized messages can be examined at the level of the source text. So, if the message is unclear or unintelligible, the user has the additional option of examining the original text on a screen. Furthermore, the user has the option of printing out synthesized messages in a semantically intelligible form. Cognitive processing of speech messages. Synthesized speech increases the load on information processing capacities, especially if they involve short-term memory. Research has shown that for certain tasks, performance is worse with synthesized speech as opposed to natural speech. It may follow, therefore, that synthesized speech may interfere with other tasks carried out simultaneously, more so than high-quality digitized speech. This will be particularly evident if information presented via synthesis has to be retained in memory.
Please phone John Smith on 48759.
The user finds difficulty in finishing off the current stage of the task while simultaneously rehearsing the number. A digitized message would be more appropriate and would not disrupt the task to such an extent. A number of guidelines have been developed from this research. These should be regarded as flexible recommendations rather than rigid rules, and should always be applied with reference to the functions of speech within a particular task and the requirements and expectations of the user. Speech digitization is a live medium requiring a good reader and a quiet setting. Speech synthesis requires no special settings. Digitized messages need the original speaker to maintain consistency. Synthesized messages can be edited by anyone. Speech synthesis is advantageous where data storage space is restricted because digitized messages consume a great deal more storage space. Synthesized speech is more attention-getting in a noisy environment than digitized or normal human speech. The perception of synthesized speech imposes greater demands on processing capacities than the perception of digitized speech, and may interfere with other tasks carried out simultaneously. This suggests that synthesized speech may be more problematic for situations where users are overloaded with information. Where prosody and intonation are essential to convey intended meaning in messages that contain a degree of ambiguity, digitized speech is likely to be more appropriate. For messages of considerable complexity, or which need to be transcribed with perfect accuracy, synthesized speech may offer an advantage in that messages can be studied visually as source text as well as auditorily. The originator of a digitized message can easily be identified by other users. Synthesized messages can be made or changed by anyone. If the speaker can be identified, the message may signify more authority or convey more confidentiality. Further human factors research conducted at the School of Psychology will refine and extend these recommendations for speech interface design. Ongoing research will take full advantage of the profound improvements in state-of-the-art speech technology available from digital, namely the high-quality and flexible DEC voice, and aid designers in building efficient, usable and friendly speech-based applications.